The flashing red and blue lights cut through the night like a cruel spotlight. Sophia Trent gripped the steering wheel, her chest heaving as sirens screamed behind her. Just moments ago, she'd been driving across Houston, humming softly to the radio, believing she was doing a harmless errand for her husband. Now, half a dozen patrol cars boxed her in. "Step out of the vehicle with your hands where we can see them," an officer barked through a megaphone. Sophia's pulse hammered against her ribs. She fumbled with the seatbelt, her trembling fingers barely managing to unclip it. The cold night air rushed at her as she stepped out, only to find herself staring down the barrels of raised guns. Her mind raced. What's happening? What did I do? The bag on the passenger seat, the one Adrian had handed her just an hour earlier, was ripped open by gloved hands. Out spilled tightly wrapped bricks of powder. Drugs. The officer's words seared through her like fire. "You're under arrest for possession with intent to distribute." Her knees buckled as steel handcuffs clamped around her wrists. To understand how Sophia ended up in this nightmare, you have to go back. She met Adrian Martin 5 years earlier at a charity gala. He was magnetic, 6'2", with slicked-back dark hair and an easy smile that disarmed everyone in the room. He ran a boutique real estate firm, talked about investments with confidence, and made Sophia feel like she was the most important person alive. Sophia wasn't naive. At 33, she was a successful interior designer with her own firm, wealthy in her own right. But Adrian swept her off her feet in a way she hadn't thought possible. He remembered little details, brought her coffee exactly the way she liked it, and whispered promises of forever when no one else was listening. Within a year, they were married. And at first, life really did feel like a dream. They lived in a gated neighborhood in Houston, drove luxury cars, and vacationed in Europe. Friends envied them. Clients trusted them. They were the couple everyone wanted to be. But behind closed doors, the cracks began to form. Adrian's charm had another side, controlling, calculating. He would ask Sophia to sign documents without explaining them. He handled their finances, but brushed off her questions with lines like, "Trust me, babe, I've got us covered." She chalked it up to him being a businessman. She wanted to believe he had their best interests at heart. Until the night, he destroyed everything. It was a Friday evening when Adrian came into her office, a leather satchel in hand. "Hey, Soph, I need a favor," he said casually. "I've got some papers that need to be delivered to a client across town. I'm tied up on calls. Can you take them?" Sophia didn't hesitate. Of course she would. She trusted him. She grabbed the satchel, kissed him on the cheek, and left. She had no idea that bag didn't contain papers at all. By the time she realized something was wrong, it was too late. The drugs were in the evidence locker. Her name was on the arrest report, and her perfect husband was nowhere to be found. In the holding cell, Sophia sat on a hard metal bench, her mind replaying the last few hours on a loop. Adrian hadn't come to see her. He hadn't even called. Instead, she got word through her attorney that Adrian was shocked and deeply saddened by her arrest. He told everyone he had no idea what Sophia had been up to, painting her as a double-life criminal. But the real betrayal came later. While Sophia was trapped in legal purgatory, Adrian wasted no time dismantling her life. He withdrew money from their joint accounts. He sold off properties that were in both their names. Even her design studio, the business she had built long before meeting him, was quietly transferred into his company through forged documents. By the time Sophia made bail 2 weeks later, she walked out of jail not only branded as a drug trafficker, but also penniless. Her home? Sold. Her savings? Gone. Her business? Legally no longer hers. She had lost everything. Sophia knew she had two choices: give in and let Adrian's plan bury her, or fight back. She chose to fight. She hired a relentless attorney named Marlon Vega, a sharp-tongued former prosecutor who had built his career exposing financial crimes. Marlon believed her from the start. "This wasn't an accident," he told her during their first meeting. "Someone set you up. And if what you're saying about your husband is true, then we're going to burn his empire to the ground." They began digging. Bank records, property transfers, digital trails. What they found was staggering. Adrian hadn't just betrayed Sophia. He had been planning it for months. The drugs were just one piece of a larger scheme. His goal was simple: get Sophia out of the way legally, then drain her wealth without resistance. One by one, witnesses came forward, a realtor who admitted. Adrian bragged about starting fresh without Sophia. a notary who confessed she had been pressured into stamping forged signatures, and even one of Adrian's so-called business partners, who revealed that Adrian had been dabbling in illegal deals for years. The case began to shift. The trial was electric. The gallery was packed. Reporters scribbling notes as Sophia sat at the defense table, her hands folded tightly, trying to mask the storm inside her. Across the aisle, Adrian wore a tailored navy suit and his usual smug expression. He still thought he could win. Prosecutors painted Sophia as the mastermind of a drug trafficking ring. They replayed the body cam footage of her arrest, held up the bag of drugs, and called her calculating and deceitful. But then Marlon stood. Piece by piece, he dismantled their story. He produced bank statements showing Adrian had siphoned funds. The very day Sophia was arrested, he called the notary to the stand, who testified through tears that Adrian had forged Sophia's signatures. He played a secretly recorded conversation in which Adrian joked about Sophia rotting away while he enjoyed her money. The courtroom shifted. Jurors leaned forward. Adrian's mask began to crack. And then came the final blow. Marlon revealed that Adrian's fingerprints, not Sophia's, had been found on the packaging of the drugs. It was the proof they needed. When the jury foreman stood, the room was silent. We, the jury, find the defendant, Sophia Trent, not guilty. Relief crashed over Sophia like a tidal wave. Tears blurred her vision as she gripped Marlon's hand. She was free, but Adrian wasn't walking out. Within seconds, deputies surrounded him. A warrant had already been issued for fraud, forgery, and drug trafficking. His face, once so composed, twisted into panic as handcuffs clicked shut around his wrists. The man who had tried to sell her freedom was losing his own. Sophia walked out of the courthouse into the bright Texas sun. The world still felt heavy, scarred, but she was free. Reporters shouted her name, cameras flashing, but she ignored them. Her eyes lifted to the sky, silently promising herself that she would rebuild. It wouldn't be easy. Adrian had taken years of hard work, stolen millions, and left her reputation in shambles. But Sophia had survived something worse than financial ruin. She had survived betrayal from the person she trusted most. And in that survival, she had found something priceless, her strength. Her story became a warning, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous criminals don't come with masks or weapons. Sometimes they come with wedding vows and whispered promises. And sometimes they're sleeping right beside you.